Today I have a bit of an unusual project to get to work on for Art and Donna. It's what you might call an anti-cat door. The idea is to control the cat access to their living room and bedroom, especially at night, but to still let the warm air from the wood stove out in the kitchen flow through the rest of the house. We're going to use cedar for this project. I'll start with an outside border for the door using 4-inch wide planks. I'll use a lap joint for the 4 corners. Once I have the frame glued up, I'll install 2 3/8 dowels into each corner to make sure it's good and strong. I'll also have to cut some notches in the top and bottom boards to make room to install the 7 slats for the door. These slats will be glued into place, and I'll also run 4-inch long screws up into the end of each one. As for a finishing touch, I'll install a standard doorknob system in it to mate up with the existing door latch receiver in the door frame. Okay, let's get to work. Alright guys, so I've been working on getting the wood for our anti-cat door cut to a rough length kind of thing. So the door itself is going to be 5 feet high from top to bottom. So I have got my runners here, or slats that go top to bottom on the door. I've cut them to 5 foot long, so that gives me a little bit extra at either end because they have to fit into those notches, so I'll have to cut it down for that. Now my top and bottom boards and the side boards, these are roughly the same thickness here, but they're much too wide for what we want. This is all 6-inch plus lumber, so I'm going to cut these down to a final size of 4 inches, and the width isn't going to change, so I can go ahead and cut the width to its finished size of 4 inches, and then we can actually start planing these and try to get everything down to the same thickness. Alright guys, this is where it's going to get a bit messy. So I've got to start taking these down, and so I'll be wearing my dust mask, and we'll be moving on from there. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on the dust level, make sure it doesn't get too bad in here. I'm not sure what I'm going to get from this, but we'll see. Well, that's not bad. Well, that's it. That's got all the boards down to the same thickness. So our slats are square and our boards are finished. So now I can start thinking about my final actual design and assembly from here. This was the big dirty part of the job, getting the roughed in length and the finished thickness. So we'll get cleaned up, and that's going to be it for the planer. I won't need it again after this, I hope. All right, let's clean up and get ready for the next step. All right, guys, it's a new day. It was a very cold night last night, so we got to get our heaters going because the shop is really cold. and then we'll get moving forward with this door. So the plan for today is to figure out how to build the frame for this door. As I've said a number of times, this is a learn as you go experience. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting. What I want to do is these outside boards on the doors are going to be lap jointed and then just glued, but also have a couple of dowels to really hold them good and strong. But before I do that, I need to figure out just how I'm going to do the lap joints. So I've got a couple of pieces of pine here that I'm going to experiment with to try and create a lap joint. Okay guys, we got our pieces laid out here. It's still good and cold in here, but we are finally creeping above the freezing mark. So I've come across 4 inches, drew my line down there, and I've also drawn on my line for my depth. So I've got my fence here on the bandsaw set to cut just inside of this line. So we're going to do that to both my pieces first, cut down to my depth, and then we'll cut across. All right, let's take this over to the bench and see what we've got. That's not bad. And we're going to get our frame square by clamping it to our angle brackets that you may have seen the video for not that long ago. So that's a good step towards that. I'm quite pleased with that. That worked better than I thought it would. It cut very easily, nice smooth finish. All I'll have to do is sand the inside there a little bit, and then it'll glue together very nicely with the use of our angle brackets. All right, we've got our first part of the lap joint laid out. We're going to do the top and bottom boards first. So I've got this set up with spacers out on the one side, nice and level here. So I just have to get the fence set up to match my pencil marks. As once I've got the fence in place here, then I can do all 4 cuts. All right, here I go. First cut. Okay. Now the fence makes this nice and repeatable. That's working just perfect with that tape on it. It just slides on there. Yeah. Alright guys, we've got our lap joints all cut on the bandsaw. The next thing I want to do is flatten them out now a little bit. The bandsaw did a really nice job, so it'll just be a little bit of a touch up with sandpaper on that. I've got them sitting on my modular workbench here, and we'll do that and then lay the pieces together and actually measure it and see what our finished measurements ended up being. Hopefully they're close to where we want them. The DeWalt battery-powered multi-tool is just the thing for this kind of job. You can get right up to the edge. Give me a call, DeWalt. Well, the lap joints looks like they turned out really nice. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. That turned out great. All right, we're going to put a clamp on each one of these. I'm not going to glue it up yet. I still need to figure out my spacing for the up and down runners. All right, so you can see my slats here just laying on top. So what I need to do is make sure I've got the spacing right. Then I'm going to mark out that spacing and cut these notches out with my jigsaw. So I haven't glued anything together because I want to be able to take it all apart. I've got it numbered so I can get it back into the same spot. So I want to take it all apart so I can drill, because as you saw from the drawing at the beginning, I've got to drill up through here for our screws. So we'll get these all positioned, figure it all out, and mark everything. And then I can take it all apart. All right, guys, so this is coming along very nicely. I've got everything laid out for our slots, for the slats going top and bottom. Unfortunately, the only way I can come up with to cut these is going to be with the jigsaw, and that does seem to work, so I can't complain about that. So that's going to be it for part one of this. I hope you guys are finding it interesting, maybe even a bit entertaining. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and if you are liking these videos, please don't forget to like, and I'd also love to have you subscribe to the channel. So thanks again, guys, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time.